number.
Well, I hope it is.
Let's
take a photograph of it, please.
Yeah. Just wondering. I've got to prove it. Obviously, I don't know you from Adam. You could be someone just who's
Well,
dressed up
we're not
as a
going to do this
copper.
for fancy dress, are we? Right. As my colleague explained,
Yeah.
the reason why we stopped you is because you fit the description of somebody acting suspiciously. Right? Now, you've given a legitimate reason why you're here.
Yeah.
Right. But we need to see some ID and some proof that you are here legitimately.
No, I understand
Can we
that.
see that, please?
I understand that, but on another term, I have actually got human rights.
Is that your vehicle there?
Nope.
Okay. So, what form of identification have you got on you to say you're actually canvassing?
I've got ID on me, but I don't have to legally show it yet because I've not committed a crime.
Right.
Obviously, if you,
We've got a report.
We've had a phone call about, like I said, a suspicious male, so we need to ascertain whether you are, you say you are, but I take it you're not going to give us your name.
I get this every week.
Verify. Yeah, but you've got to appreciate we get calls from members.
No, I understand that, but I'm doing a job, I'm paying me taxes, I'm earning money.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand, I have not committed a crime.
If you were calling us, surely you'd want us to follow it up, wouldn't you? That's why we've been sent here, to follow it up, to, we want to be rest assured when we leave here today that you're not up to anything suspicious.
Imagine being stopped by the police, not for committing a crime, but because of a vague, third-party phone call. That's exactly what happened here. Suspicion alone, without any concrete evidence, is not enough to justify a detention or an ID check. Yet the officer insists he needs to ascertain who you are, even though the auditor never claimed a false identity. Here's the kicker. Under UK law, you do not have a hand over ID unless the police have a lawful reason, like reasonable suspicion of a specific crime. And in this case, the officers couldn't articulate any. They were essentially fishing for identity based on hearsay, which is exactly the kind of vague excuse that opens the door to profiling and abuse of power. The auditor, knowing his rights, refused to comply. He exercised a basic legal protection that everyone in the UK has. You cannot be forced to identify yourself without legitimate grounds. This isn't just a technicality. It's a safeguard against arbitrary stops and overreach by those in authority. So the lesson is clear: rights matter. Vague accusations do not strip you of your legal protections. And if the police can't point to a specific, articulable offense, they cannot lawfully demand your ID.
I understand it in that way, but I'm not...
Your name gives you ID, we could ring SafeStar, say, and confirm...
Well, you can ring SafeStar and you can ask them if, obviously, if you've got canvases in this area and they'll validate who I am.
And what's your
But
name?
obviously, I'm not giving it out.
Well, when I ring up SafeStar UK and say you've got canvases and they say yeah...
They know I'm in this office, they know I'm around here. Because we get issued to a certain area and they keep both names of the people.
So where's your ID card?
It is on me, but I don't have to show it. I've not committed a crime.
We're going round in circles here, aren't we, chap?
No, I don't mean human rights, mate. I've not committed a crime. Obviously, you put me under alarm and distress now. You both cover it going round me. Obviously, you're trying to say that I have to show my ID.
You're putting me under alarm and distress.
How am I?
It's our ID, we've shown you our ID, so
Yeah, but end of the day, you're a public servant.
Instead of acknowledging the auditor's lawful position, that he is under no obligation to provide ID without reasonable suspicion of a crime, the officers continue to badger him. Then, in a twist that's both ironic and alarming, they claim he is causing them harassment, alarm, and distress. Think about that. Trained, uniformed officers, armed with authority, trying to spin someone calmly asserting their legal rights as a problem. It gets worse. When challenged about their own aggressive demands, one officer bizarrely defends their position by saying, "We've shown you our ID." That misses the point entirely. The issue isn't their identity. It's their relentless insistence on demanding his details without any legal grounds. What they're doing is flipping the script, painting themselves as the victims while the real escalation comes from them. Their circular logic, refusal to recognize lawful rights, and attempts to justify harassment isn't just poor policing. It's abusive behavior under the guise of authority. This isn't a misunderstanding. It's a stark example of power being wielded incorrectly and why knowing your rights matters.
Listen, chap. I may be a public servant, but I'm not your servant.
No, I didn't say you were my servant, did I?
Okay.
I said, but if you're walking around with a police uniform which gives you powers...
Stop going on about YouTube. It's like this public servant, okay? I'm not a servant. I'm a police officer.
Yeah.
Okay?
Which means, but you serve the public.
I'm a police officer.
Right.
Okay. Police officer. I'm not a servant.
Yeah.
So let's get that quite clear before we start.
Well, there's no need to get angry, is there? Because now you're putting me under alarm and distress. Now I feel threatened.
When the officer declares, "I might be a public servant, but I'm not your servant. I'm not a servant. I'm a police officer. It's more than just words. It's a stark display of egotism and entitlement. It completely undermines the very principle that policing is about serving the public, not oneself. By drawing a line between his role and service, he exposes an inflated sense of authority and a profound misunderstanding of his duty. And this isn't an isolated remark. It comes on the heels of persistent pressure, intimidation, and refusal to respect the auditor's lawful rights. The tone is dismissive, confrontational, and laced with superiority. In that moment, the officer isn't just shirking accountability. He's actively rejecting the core principle of democratic policing. The impact isn't abstract. For the auditor, who has done nothing wrong, it's harassment amplified, adding layers of distress, alarm, and frustration to an already unjust encounter. This is exactly why understanding your rights matters, so you can stand firm even when those meant to protect the public try to abuse their power.
What, you feel threatened?
Yeah, hence why I'm recording it, just in
That's
case
fine.
anybody's trying
That's
anything
fine.
cheeky.
That's fine.
I've had it before where police has thrown me on the floor for asking him, have you got ID?
So police officers thrown you on the floor?
Yeah.
And that's what I do.
I've asked for him. I've asked for him.
Very strange.
Well, not all coppers are legitimate, are they? Not all coppers are nice. So at this moment in time, am I detained?
Yes, you are.
What for? What am I being detained for? Have I committed a criminal offence? I've not committed a criminal offence. How can you detain me? Because then you're holding me hostage. You're now restricting my free way of movement because now you're saying I'm being detained for a crime I've not committed. I will just literally. I'll send this to me my lawyer, mate. This is going straight to my lawyer.
First things first, you're recording it.
Yeah.
Has it just picked up the that you've just said to me?
Yeah.
Right. This is your first and last warning. You swear at me again, you'll be arrested. Do you understand me?
Yeah. But I'm asking why am I being detained?
Listen to me. Are you going to listen?
I'll listen, but I want you to listen to my point of view.
You are being detained at this moment in time.
Yeah.
So we can speak to the caller.
Yeah.
Because as I said, you fit the description of a person seen acting suspiciously.
Yeah.
Right? Now, until we speak to the caller and fathom out what the caller says to us, you're not going anywhere.
Right, so you're detaining me against my own will from a crime that I've not committed.
This is a blatant misuse of police powers. Detaining someone without clear, lawful grounds, simply because they fit a description or seem suspicious, is not just sloppy policing. It's a direct infringement on civil liberties. Here, the officer openly admits the detention is based solely on the word of a caller and insists the auditor will remain detained until they figure it out. That's not how the law works. You cannot hold someone on a hunch or vague suspicion without reasonable, objective justification. Under UK law, particularly PACE, officers must have reasonable grounds to detain a person. A casual report of suspicious behavior is nowhere near enough. What's happening here is shocking. The auditor is being treated as guilty until proven innocent, completely flipping the cornerstone principle of justice. This isn't policing. It's a misuse of authority that threatens fundamental rights.
Are you going to admit that now on camera, that you're detaining me when I've not committed an offence?
I'm detaining you till we speak to the caller.
Yeah.
See exactly what the caller says you have or haven't done.
Right, but technically you can't detain someone if they've not committed a crime, because then that's holding them against their own will.
Well, once we speak to the caller,
Yeah, but
and see
now
if the
you're-
crime has been committed, then I'll tell you what's going to happen next.
So you're actually admitting you've illegally detained me for a crime I've not committed.
We haven't illegally detained you.
Well, if you've not detained me, then I'm free to go.
Tell you what, walk up there then, we'll follow you then if you need to speak to you again.
But then it's harassing.
Off you go.
But then it's harassing.
It's not harassing.
No, what I'm saying
It's an
is,
illegal
if you'd
execution of
like
our
to
duty.
leave,
Right.
if you'd like to leave now and walk whichever way you like, carry on. And if I need to speak to you at a different time, I'll come after you and have a word with you.
This officer's response is shocking and exposes a blatant disregard for lawful procedure and individual rights. Instead of acknowledging the auditor's valid concern about being illegally detained, the officer casually suggests, "How about you walk away and we'll follow you?" As if trailing someone could magically fix a legal problem. In reality, this is worse than the original detention. Surveillance without legal justification is a clear form of harassment, especially after the auditor has asserted his right to be left alone. What the officer is proposing is essentially an informal, unspoken stop. Following someone under the hope of later justifying suspicion rather than acting on lawful grounds at the moment. This is textbook policing by intimidation. If there's no legal basis to detain, then shadowing someone under vague future possibilities is not just unreasonable, It's oppressive and a direct abuse of power.
Police officers fees.
I'll just put a complaint in. I'll just put a complaint into IPCC.
That's fine. That's fine.
Because obviously you're illegally detaining me for a crime I've not committed. So obviously, like I'm going to ask again, am I being detained for a crime? Because obviously now no one's answering. If I'm not being detained for a
I'm just in
crime,
the process of speaking to your manager.
right?
If you'd like to walk away, you are free to walk away. And if that's detained as a crime, I will come after you, won't I? It's up to you, sir.
I'm not going to turn me back. I'm not going to turn me back on officers so you can body slam me.
Do what you'd like. I don't think I'm capable of body
Hey, there's police out there that body slam people for the fun of it.
when he's asking for an officer's ID.
So you've illegally detained me. You call me a liar. Yeah, but now you've also illegally detained me. So wait until IPC.
Why are we going around in circles? Twice I've said, if you'd like to walk away, walk away.
Well, just for the camera, have I been committed as a crime? Right, so I've not committed a crime. So, well, you've given me permission to walk away. I'm not, mate. I'm not, mate. Now you're making lies about me. You've also illegally detained me, like I said before, when he says you're now detained. What for? What crime? He couldn't give me a crime. So he's legally detained me on the spot. He's also kept me hostage. So I do know my rights, and this will be going to IPCC. I will be sent it to Milan. I'll wait until it's all over line. I don't need the log number. I've got your badge numbers. Because I don't trust it. I don't trust the fact I can walk away with you.
Had you shown us your ID in the first instance, I don't think it would have taken this long. So when you're talking about being...
Yeah, but I don't have to show my ID if I've not committed a crime or I'm on suspicion of crime. I've not committed a crime. I'm working.
This officer's comment that the situation wouldn't have escalated if the auditor had simply identified himself exposes a deeply flawed and dangerous mindset. It shifts responsibility for poor policing onto the very individual asserting their legal rights. The auditor hadn't committed any crime, had clearly explained he was working, and laid out his legal position, yet the officer treats his lawful refusal as a real problem. This isn't about procedure, it's about ego. The officer couldn't handle being told no, and instead of reassessing the situation lawfully, he doubled down, implying the auditor was the one prolonging events. This line of thinking is more than arrogance. It's dangerous. It encourages officers to see non-compliance with demands as justification for detention or escalation, completely undermining the rule of law and individual rights.
Working's committing a crime. I'll just go and join benefits.
You could have last time you were working 10 minutes ago and you could have gone on your way then, couldn't you? So
we'll have to go so we don't have to body slam. So we don't body slam.
before you get that urge.
Yeah. Okay. So, that's what I said. Free to go, Sam?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to leave.
That £35,000 compensation payout speaks volumes, not just about the damage done to Curnow, but about the scale of misconduct by the officers involved. This wasn't a slap on the wrist. It was a serious legal reckoning. Courts don't hand out payouts like that unless rights have been severely violated. From the very beginning, the officers showed a dangerous mix of arrogance and ignorance. They approached Colonel Curnow with suspicion based solely on a vague phone call, skipping any lawful investigation, and immediately demanded ID without grounds. When Curnow rightly stood firm, exercising his legal rights, they escalated the situation unnecessarily, using force and detention, not because it was justified, but because they couldn't handle being told no. One male officer even declared, "I'm not your servant. I'm a police officer," revealing an inflated ego with no place in modern policing. Meanwhile, a female officer suggested things would have gone smoother if Curnow had just complied, showing blatant ignorance of civil liberties. Their actions weren't policing, they were coercion. Unlawful detainment, misuse of power, and attempts to justify it with vague third-party reports exposed a complete lack of proper procedure. It wasn't about law, it was about control. When challenged, they tried to spin the situation, implying Curnow was wasting their time. But in reality, it was their repeated violations and arrogance that ultimately cost them dearly. One officer was fired, another suspended, and a third left under internal review. This wasn't misunderstanding. It was a systemic failure of officers who either didn't understand the law or didn't care. The lesson here is clear. Know your rights, stay calm, and document everything. Curno's firm stance and legal knowledge forced accountability and demonstrated exactly why public oversight matters. This case is a warning to any officer who thinks they can bluff their way through the law, and a reminder to the public that asserting your rights can make a real difference. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me continue independent coverage. Also, check out Curno Audit, linked in the description, and show him some support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.